Hello, myself Homni. My bearing roll number is 23bq1a0458. My topic is the elements of the communication system. This presentation provides an overview of the key elements that comprise a communication system. Effective communication is a vital across the various fields, and understanding its underlying structure is crucial. Let us explore the components of the communication system. First one is the source of the information definition. The origin of the message or information to be communicated. Examples: human voice in telephone and text in telegraph system, data files in computer network. And next function is the source generate the message or the signal in a format that needs into the communicator, such as speech, text, image or data. This is the source of information. And next one is the input transducer. Input transducer, a device that converts into the source of information into a electrical signal. Examples: microphone, and next one is a camera sensor, and next one is a keyboard. In microsensor, convert from sound into the electrical signal. Camera sensor convert images into the digital data. Keyboard sensor converts keystrokes into electrical signal. They transform the non-electrical information to the electrical signal that can be processed or transmitted. And next one is the transmitter, the device that processes and sends the electrical signal into the communication channel. Examples: amplitude modulation, and next one is the frequency modulation. Radio transmitter, modems, modulation, demodulation for the data transmission. Functions: signal processing, modulation and multiplexing. Signal processing, modulation, amplification and decoding. Modulation convert from the message signal into the for a suitable the transmission medium. Multiplexing combines the multiple signal for the simultaneous transmission. And next one is the channel with noise added. Definition: the medium through the signal travels the transmitter to the device. First one is a wired channel, and next one is a wireless channel. Wired channels, copper cables and the optical fibers. And next one is the radio waves and satellites links. Function: the carrier the signal between the transmitter and receiver, but prone to interference and noise. Noise, unwanted disturbance, and degrade the quality of the transmitted signal. These are the channel with noise added. And next one is the receiver, a device that receives the transmitted signal, extracts the information and reconstructs the message. Examples: radios, televisions and mobile phones. And next one, functions: demodulation, amplification, decoding. Demodulation: convert the modulated signal into the original form. Amplification: boost the received signal strength. Decoding: interprets the decoded information. Next one is the output transducer, a device that converts received electrical signal back into the original non-electrical form. Examples: loudspeaker convert the electrical signals into sound. Display screen convert the digital signals into image or text. Printer convert the digital signals into the hard copy. Function: reconstruct the message into the format understandable by humans or other systems. Next one is the destination. Destination definition is the end point or the target where the message is intended to reach. Example: a listener in a phone call, viewer in a television broadcast, a computer in a network. The function receives the final output of the communication system and interprets the uses of message. Next one is the baseband signal. Baseband signal. Baseband signal receives to the signal that has to be modulated to shift its frequency range. It contains the original frequency as generated by source and typical occupy the frequency range starting from near zero up to its height frequency component. Characteristic of the baseband signal. There are three types of the characteristic of the baseband signal. First one is a low frequency range, and next one is a no frequency translation, and third one is the signal nature. Low frequency range. Baseband signals are conformed to a frequency range starting near 0 Hz and extended the signal's highest frequency. No frequency translation. It is an unmodulated version of the signal and represents the actual information content. Signal nature can be analog, voice signals or digital signals and the data streams. And next one is the examples of the baseband signal. There are the three types of the examples of the baseband signal. First one is a voice signal, and next one is the digital signal, and third one is the video signal. Voice signal, the human voice ranges from 20 Hz to 3 kHz, making it a baseband signal in telephony before modulation. Digital data, the binary sequence used in computer networks and communication. Video signals, analog video signals such as TV, CCTV and pitch are the baseband before modulation. Definition of the modulation signal. Modulation is a process of changing some characteristic amplitude, frequency or phase of a carrier wave in accordance with the instantaneous value of the modulating signal. It enables to efficient transmission of information over a long distance and through the various mediums. Modulation. Modulation is the process of changing some characteristic amplitude, frequency or phase of the carrier signal with according to the instantaneous value of the modulating signal. That is called as the modulation. And next one is the key elements of the modulation. There are the three key elements of the modulation. First one is the carrier signal, and next one is the message signal, and next one is the modulated signal. Carrier signal, a high frequency signal used for modulation. That is called a carrier signal. A high frequency signal used for the modulation is called a carrier signal. Message signal, the information or data to be transmitted, also called as a modulated signal. Message signal. And next one is the modulated signal. The resultant signal after the modulation which carries the information is called as the modulated signal. These are the key elements in the modulation. Next one, definition of the demodulation. Demodulation is the process of the extracting the original signal from the modulated carrier signal. It is the reverse of the demodulation and is performed at the receiver end to attach the transmitted data for the processing or interpretation. Key elements in the demodulation. There are the two types of the key elements. First one is the modulated signal and next one is the demodulated. Modulated signal, the receiver signal contain the carrier and the embedded message. Demodulated, the circuit or device that recover the original signal from the modulated signal. Next, the types of the modulation. There are several types of the modulation. First one is the continuous wave modulation and pulse modulation. In continuous wave modulation, there are the two types of the modulation: linear modulation and the angle modulation. In linear modulation, there are the four types: amplitude modulation, double sideband suppressor carrier, single sideband suppressor carrier, and vestigial sideband. Angle modulation, there are the two types: frequency modulation and amplitude modulation. In pulse modulation, there are the two types: digital modulation and analog modulation, PCM and PAM and PWM and PPM. Needs for modulation. Advantages of the modulation: reduce the height of the antenna, avoiding the mixing of the signal, increasing the range of the communication, allow the multiplexing of the signal, allow the adjustment in bandwidth, improve the quality of reception. First one is the reduce the height of the antenna, and next one is the avoid the mixing of the signal. We see the avoiding the mixing of the signal. Without modulation, multiple baseband signals could occupy the same frequency range. This lead to interference and signal and overlapping. Modulation assigns the distant frequency band to each signal. Ensure that signals do not mix or interference with one another during the transmission. And next one is the increasing the range of the communication. Low frequency baseband signal cannot travel the long distance due to the significant authentication and the energy loss. Modulation transfer the signal to a higher frequency range radio waves which can travel the longer distance with less authentication. This extends the communicational range. Next one is the allow the multiplexing of the signal. Multiplexing of signal is a process of combining the multiple signals for transmission over a single band. Modulation enable the technique like frequency division multiplexing FDM, where different signals are transmitted at different frequency bands, allowing the efficient use of the communication channel. And next one is the allows and adjustment in bandwidth. Modulation helps the control of the bandwidth of the signal to match the channel capacity. For example, high frequency carrier can support the larger bandwidth, allowing the more data to be transmitted and efficiency without the signal distortion or loss. This is the NT allows the adjustment in bandwidth. Modulation helps the control the bandwidth of the signal to match the channel capacity. For example, high frequency carrier can support the larger bandwidth, allowing the more data to be transmitted efficiently without the signal distortion or loss. And next one is the improves quality of reception. Higher frequency signals are less affected by noise, interference and other distortions during transmissions compared to the low frequency signals. By modulating signals on a frequency higher, the quality reception is significantly improved by ensuring the better clarity and reliability of communication. By modulating signal onto a frequency carrier signal, the quality of the reception significantly improved, ensuring the better clarity and reliability of the communication. And next one is the this is the improved qualification of the reception. And next one is the reducing the height of the antenna. Height of the antenna. For efficient transmission of the signal, the height of the antenna should be proportional to the wavelength. The baseband signal low frequency have large wavelength requiring the extremely tall antenna for transmission, which is impractical. The modulation shifts the signal to the higher frequency, reducing the required wavelength and consequently the antenna height. This makes the system more feasible and more feasible. And next one is the wavelength equation. We know the wavelength equation lambda equal to c by f, where c is the velocity of the light. Velocity of the light, the value equal to 3 into 10 power minus 8 meter per second. F is the frequency of the signal. And next one is the antenna of the height of the equation. H equal to lambda by 4, where h is the height and lambda is the wavelength. And the substituting the wavelength equation, h equal to c by 4 pi f. This is the wavelength of the equation and the height of the antenna equation. And next one is the example of the frequency 15 kilohertz. H equal to, we know the formula, h equal to 3 into 10 power 8 into 15 into 10 cube by 4. 3 into 10 power 8 by 6 into 10 power 4. We h value equal to 5000 meter. The height of the antenna should be 5 kilometer. Emphasize the low frequency require the taller antenna due to the increased wavelength. Next one, the communication system summary. Communication system summary. First one is the source, and next one is the direct line, and next one is the lateral picture. In a communication system, transfer the information transform the information signal the oriented and encoding convert the message from the transmission. The transmission stage sends the decoded message. This goes through the channel such as air, optical fibers. This message is received and decoded. The information finally reaches its destination. Communication system transfer functions. The information source where the message oriented and encoding converts the message for the transmission. The transmission stage sends the encoder message. This goes to a channel such as air or optical fiber. The message is received and decoded. The information is finally reached its the destination. And thank you for this giving this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you.